When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
Doug. Limu and I always tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. But now, we want you to feel it. Cue the emu music, Limu.
Save yourself money today. Increase your wealth. Customize and save, we say.
That may have been too much feeling.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
The holidays have arrived at the Home Depot, and we're here to help bring the excitement with decor for every part of your home. Check out our wide assortment of easy-to-assemble pre-lit trees so you can spend less time setting up and more time celebrating. And bring your holiday spirit outdoors with unique decor like one of our Santa inflatables. Whatever your style, find the right pieces at the right prices this holiday season at the Home Depot.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Look who's there, everybody. Look who's there. Look at him. He is in the middle of peak October. He is in the middle of baseball. This is his happiest time. And he got a double play for the ages the other day. The thing that makes Tim more excited than anything in the world is when he goes to the ballpark and sees something that no one's ever seen before, because that can happen in baseball. He's everyone's favorite. He's the Hall of Fame baseball writer, Tim Kurkjian, analyst, reporter for Baseball Tonight, and the host of a great podcast with his son, Jeff. Is this a great game or what? It is really wonderful to watch him do this and see him do this with his son.
And he's also a hotel expert because he knows you get the two beds so you can sleep in one and have the storage on the other bed, right, Tim? You request two beds at a hotel.
I do, and being as small as I am, I don't need a king-size bed. Anything is fine. So the two beds works better for me because I put my suitcase on there if I need to. So, yes, I'm good in hotels.
What other veteran travel tips do you have for us as someone who has, been all over the globe following baseball players?
Well, I get in a lot of trouble for this, Dan, but I need a printed boarding pass to get on the airplane. And Eduardo Perez and Carl Ravitch, who I travel with, Eddie doesn't even need a boarding pass. He just gets on the airplane and they let him, whether he has a pass or not. I, being 68 years old, have to have a printed boarding pass in order to get on the plane. Otherwise, I would be that poor, doddering little old man who can't find the code or whatever that thing is called on my phone. I just want a piece of paper in my pocket so I can hand it to the gate agent so I can get on the plane. That's my number one rule when it comes to traveling. Take a printed boarding pass.
What happens if they change the gate after you get through security?
Well, I still have a printed boarding pass. I just have to look and find out where the gate gets changed all the time.
But do you go to the big boards to see, or do you get the mobile notification?
Love that board.
No, I go to the boards.
Okay.
I'd much rather talk to a person, look at a board, printed boarding pass in my pocket. That's just the way it works for me. I don't put anybody else through this. I don't make people go to the airport 4 hours before my flight like I do. It's just me that is part of all this ridiculous anxiety that I have at the airport, even though I've been traveling for 45 years. I just can't afford to be running through an airport at my age.
I'm more interested in Eduardo Perez just having free reign in airports and airplanes. Like, does he get to go in the cockpit mid-flight?
He's unbelievable. You know what he did in New York? He took a helicopter from JFK into downtown Manhattan.
That's a good move.
He checked it out. It was going to be an hour and a half Uber ride for $120. Instead, he paid $260 and took a 7-minute helicopter ride into Manhattan.
I could just get a helicopter?
Minutes. He took a helicopter And if you think that makes him some pretentious diva, because that's what he does, he's the opposite of that, because the next day he went and took his clothing to a laundromat in Manhattan. So one day he takes a helicopter into the city, and the next day he walks around with his suitcase looking for a laundromat, and then for $7.50 does his laundry the next day. If you travel with Eduardo Perez, nothing bad can possibly happen. When we were in New York, this was so bad. I almost got on the wrong subway train going to Yankee Stadium. And if I had, I would have been lost forever. I would have missed the game. I would have been some sad little old man in Schenectady because I would have never found my way back. Eduardo and Ravi saved me. Otherwise, I would have gotten on the wrong subway train. And instead of going to the Bronx, I would have gone, to Long Island or something.
Tim, I love you, okay? But when I ask you for a tip, a veteran tip of travel, after 45 years of travel, you can't say print your boarding pass. Like, you're not giving anybody any wisdom with that. Like, you've got 45 years of experience traveling. How is that the best travel tip you can give people when Chris is saluting you on, yes, 2 beds, get 2 beds so you can just throw your junk on one of them?
Dan, this is the printed boarding pass. We talked about this on our podcast the other day, and at least a dozen people responded to me saying, I have to have a printed boarding pass also. Dan, I don't need anything to travel. I'm really simple. I don't check into a hotel and say, hey, I need this, hey, I need that. I have no tips. My only tip is get to the airport early so you don't miss the flight. And I'm a member of the Admirals Club for American Airlines. That's my tip. You have to have a place to go, get something to eat, get something to drink, some place to relax, some place to go work, especially when you get to the airport as early as I do.
Does Max Muncy look like the guy who comes out of the restroom and says, whew, I wouldn't go in there if I were you?
Dan, do you know that Max Muncy, there are 2 Max Muncies playing in the major leagues right now? They have the same name. They are not related. Max Muncy is not exactly the most popular name in the world, and there are 2 guys in the major leagues named Max Muncy, the one for the Dodgers and a rookie for the A's, and they both, get this, share the same birthday. I mean, what? What are the chances of that happening? I say 0%.
What? Well, clearly not 0%. What is the stat that you would look to from the regular season for you that you would say is your favorite stat of this season? And I want to ask you the follow-up question of, you've called this the most unpredictable season you've covered in 45 years. How is that possible?
Well, I believe it is, Dan, for this reason. This season, I counted the Blue Jays out multiple times, and then they won the division. I counted the Mariners out multiple times, and then they won their division. Every team that made the playoffs in the American League this year, at one point, at least privately, I said they're not going to make the playoffs. And then 6 of them did. The lesson that we learned from 2025 is just when you think you understand the game, you realize that you don't. Because a team, you look at them and say, this team stinks. And then they win 8 games in a row. And then you say, this team is really good. And then they lose 7 games in a row. That's the unpredictable nature that I'm talking about. Is I like to think I understand what I'm watching, but I've been wrong. We've all been wrong so many times this year. It has been ridiculous with the Mets, with the Yankees, with just about every team you look at and say, I missed on them. That's why this has been such an interesting season.
Does Hunter Pence look like the pirate forced to walk the plank after a failed mutiny against his captain, Jeff Samardzija? What is your favorite stat from the regular season? Do you have a favorite? I know you've got so many of them in the bank. It's hard to ask you for just one.
All right, so I'm going to give you 2. Okay, Shohei Ohtani is going to win the MVP again this year. He struck out 187 times, so he's going to have the second most strikeouts ever in an MVP season with 187. And he is the record holder at 189. So the two greatest strikeout seasons during an MVP year are both held by Shohei Ohtani, who is the best player in the National League. He's going to win the unanimous MVP again this year. He's the most remarkable player anyone has ever seen, and yet he strikes out all the time, proving again that the stuff that we see in the big leagues right now is unbelievably good. I mean, these guys have no shot against the pitching that we see today unless a guy misses location. So that's one stat, and it's just showing you what the strikeout rate is like. The other thing is we hit home runs at an outrageous rate. We have 19 three-homer games, individual three-homer games this year, 19. And it's not even the record. The record is 21. Three-homer seasons. Keep in mind that Hank Aaron had one three-homer season.
Three-homer
game. One three-homer game in his career. Gary Sheffield, David Ortiz, Rafael Palmeiro had no individual three-homer games in their career. And 19 different guys had a three-homer game, and 3 of those had a 4-homer game this year. The point is, this is what we play today. You hit the ball out of the ballpark or you strike out, and there's not much in between. Now, we're getting a little closer to the game we used to play 40 years ago, where the ball's in play more, guys are stealing bases, the Brewers and the Blue Jays run all over the place and make somebody stop them. That's a good sign, but we're still in an era where the strikeout rate is ridiculous. We will have more 100 strikeout guys this year than from 1900 to 1963 combined. That's what we look at these days, and everyone seems to be okay with everybody striking out 100 times and everybody just trying to hit home runs. But I would like to see us go back to a different game, the game that we played 40 years ago.
Does Freddie Freeman look like the neighbor who always waves first and means it?
Listen, speaking of looks like, you gotta look this up, Dan. Ernie Clement is an infielder for the Blue Jays, and a really good one. Okay, he made the Gold Glove finalists as a third baseman and as a utility player. So there's a chance he could win the Gold Glove at third base and win the Gold Glove as a utility player, which I find ridiculous. But Ernie Clement looks exactly like Aaron Boone, a younger Aaron Boone, who is the manager of the Yankees. And we got a text the other day from Brett Boone, Aaron's brother, watching the game on TV while we're doing it on the radio. And he said, he looks exactly like my brother. So then we called up the picture of Ray Boone, who is, of course, Aaron's grandfather who played in the major leagues. He looks exactly like Aaron. Therefore, he looks exactly like Ernie Clement. So there the Blue Jays knocked the Yankees out of the playoffs, and their second baseman / third baseman looks exactly like the manager of the Yankees. And get this. I'm sorry to belabor this, but Ernie Clement is wearing a baseball glove in the game that he bought on eBay several months ago. He bought a glove on eBay, and now it is his game glove in the major leagues.
He had like 10 hits in the last series, didn't he?
He had 9 hits in the Yankee series. 9. He had 12 hits now in the postseason. He's a good major league player, and he's a great defender at every position. And he bought a glove on eBay, and now he has to wear a batting glove underneath his glove because, as he explained to me, there's no padding in this glove because it's so old, but it fits him perfectly. He bought a glove on eBay, and now he uses it as a potential Gold Glove infielder. Only in baseball could this happen.
Hey audience, I got a special treat for you because I want to talk to you about Miller Lite, but I want to talk to you about Miller Lite with my good friend Rose. Hey Rose!
Hi everybody!
When we hang out, and we hang out often, we're friends. I consider us friends.
Yeah, me too.
We're often toasting the good times. And what am I toasting with?
With Miller Lite!
That's right, Miller Lite. Whether you're hanging out with your dear friend Rose or at game day, it just hits different when you got a Miller Lite in your hand. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to fantasy heartbreaks, it's a beer that has been there for every moment. 50 years of great taste, simple ingredients, and that iconic golden color that you can spot across the room. And it's just not the color of the beer, which is brilliant. That beautiful white can. How beautiful is that? Is that you doing the sound of a can opening? Is that your favorite sound?
No, it is a horsey.
A horsey? All right, we'll stop doing that. And here's a kicker. Miller Lite is just 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. The original light beer since 1975. That's right. And still hitting different 5 decades later. You're so good at this, Rose.
I know.
So whatever your game day looks like, remember, Miller time is always a good
time.
Look at us. We're a great tag team. High five again. Can you do that beer sound one more time? And the horse sound one more time? I regret asking you about that one, but the Miller Lite sound is good. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller
time.
Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12
ounces.
No, it says.
Oh, it says.
What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Every October, my pets get just as excited as the rest of the family, which sounds cute until you realize that means I need costumes that actually fit. Toys don't fall apart instantly, and treats they won't just sniff and walk away from. Luckily, Chewy has it all. Fast delivery, great deals, everything in one place. Dopey's happy, Izzy's happy. I look like I know what I'm doing. They've got food, treats, toys, even flea meds, all shipped to my door in a day or two. And if I have questions like which flea treatment's best, or if my dogs can actually pull off a taco costume, someone at Chewy's there 24/7. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, I can return anything within a year. Finding costumes for bigger dogs is usually impossible, but Chewy has sizes for everyone. This Halloween, make your pets be part of the celebration. Shop costumes, toys, and treats with Chewy. Go to chewpanions.chewy.com/Le Batard Show to get $20 off your first order. That's chewpanions.chewy.com/Le Batard Show to get $20 off your first order. chewpanions.chewy.com/Le Batard Show.
Dan Le Batard.
I thought that we were past the lightning. I thought that we were better than the lightning, and we didn't give the lightning any mind. This is loser mentality.
That was last year. No. Last year's shirt was World War III.
Yeah.
Our group chat has a good feeling about this one.
The lightning aren't shit to me. I'm just going to come right out and tell you right now. We have surpassed the lightning. They're not a formidable foe. They're a joke.
Stugotz.
I don't take them seriously at all. Strike me by lightning. I don't care. Nothing's going to happen to me. Lightning are soft. I'm not giving them any mind. I'm not paying attention to them this series. On to the next round.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Tim, what's realistic best case scenario for Scherzer tonight?
That's a good question. He had a 5.0 ERA during the regular season. And in his last 5 postseason starts, he has a 7.71 ERA. What he does have going for him is he's Max Scherzer, and he is a complete lunatic, and that is a compliment. He's Mad Max, and he's one of the great competitors we've ever seen. In fact, I was talking to Chris Bassett of the Blue Jays the other day. Chris Bassett is a pitcher and was a really good high school football player and a great high school basketball player. So he's a new teammate this year with Max Scherzer, and Scherzer finds out that Chris Bassett loves basketball and is really good. So Max, typically being Max, goes to Chris Bassett and said, I want to play one-on-one against you. And he says, and we're playing full court one-on-one. That's who Max Scherzer is. We had Ryan Zimmerman on our podcast last year, the greatest Washington national ever. And he said that he used to play pickup basketball with Max. And this is how Max would do it. Zimmerman said, we had to play by the Max rules. And I said, well, what exactly does that mean, even though I can figure it out myself? So after like 5 buckets of the pickup game, you have to shoot free throws because you never know how good a free throw shooter you are until you shoot them when you are fatigued. And then when the pickup game is over, first team to 12, then you have to shoot free throws again because now you're really fatigued after a game. That's how Max Scherzer does everything in his life, and it's one reason why I think he's got a chance to be really good tonight, but the numbers suggest he might struggle tonight. And by the way, this will be the 6th different franchise for which he has started a postseason game. That will be the most of any pitcher in Major League history. David Wells started a game for 5 different franchises. Tonight, Max Scherzer will make it 6.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Does Max Scherzer look as crazy as his eyes look at Le Batard Show? Also, Tim, I want to ask you a handful of questions here. Does Jalen Brunson look like the valet driver who lost your keys? Does Brent Venables look like the small-town sheriff in a movie that ends up being corrupt after you spent the whole movie telling your wife he's obviously corrupt? Does Michael Smith look like the high school teacher who motivates his students by sitting in a chair backwards?
Is that Michael Smith, the media guy?
Yes, that's right. yes, he does look like that. Yes, that's right. He's a substitute teacher at an inner city school, and he's trying to make everyone more comfortable. He's trying to get them fired up. That's right.
What type of school?
Does Adam Silver...
Hasn't said anything.
Adam Silver looks like the lone French fry in a bag of onion rings.
You didn't let me finish. Does Adam Silver...
He's the commissioner of the NBA. You need to leave him alone.
Does Adam Silver...
Sorry.
Does Adam Silver look like the last lonely lollipop in the jar at the doctor's office?
One of them. Adam Silver looks like a 3-wood.
Tim, I want you to put a couple of things in context for me because I couldn't believe the stat the other day. I'm sure it's now common in baseball circles, but it was new to me. Big Dumper having his first passed ball in a postseason game when he didn't have one in a regular season game makes no sense to me. I don't have any earthly idea how possible that is. So explain to me with the context of baseball that you have better than almost anybody. I know you find that stat stunning. That makes no sense with the way pitchers are throwing today.
Stunning, absolutely stunning. So he is the first catcher since Johnny Bench, the greatest catcher of all time. In 1975, Johnny Bench caught 1,002 innings and did not have a pass ball. So the Big Dumper is the first catcher since Johnny Bench in 75 to catch at least 120 games and not have a passed ball. Now, interestingly, in the series against the Tigers, Dylan Dingler, the catcher for Detroit, had caught 118 games this year without a pass ball. So 2 catchers in the same postseason series had caught at least 118 games this year and not had a pass ball. And then Cal Raleigh had a pass ball in the postseason. And Dan, your point is well made. With the violent stuff that we see today, I don't know how there aren't pass balls like 3 per game because guys are throwing so hard.
And the way that team pitches, like he's got to be the best defensive catcher there's ever been, Tim. That's probably blasphemy with Johnny Bench to you, but how can it not be given what that staff stuff is?
Right. That stuff, the stuff on that staff is so ungodly good. Wait till you see Luis Castillo throw tonight. I mean, nobody can hit him. He was so good in a playoff game 3 years ago that Manny Acta, who is a coach for the Mariners, told me after the game, after Castillo shoved for 7 innings against the Blue Jays, he said, we have to move the mound back 2 feet because it's not fair to the hitters. That's the kind of stuff Luis Castillo has. And for Cal Raleigh to catch him and all of that staff without a pass ball is just remarkable to me. Now, he's an elite defensive catcher, even though he didn't finish in the top 3 for the Gold Glove finalists this year in the American League, which I was astonished by. Johnny Bench is the greatest defensive catcher of all. He's the greatest catcher ever. He's the greatest defensive catcher ever. But Cal Raleigh is really good. And Dan, not to get too inside baseball here, but we've changed the way the catchers are supposed to catch. They're catching on one leg now instead of being on 2. And blocking a ball and receiving a ball is harder, I believe, than it's ever been. And he still didn't have a pass ball this year in a season in which he hit 60 home runs. It's stunning.
I was saying earlier this week, and I don't want to be prisoner of the moment about this, but I'm interested in your historical context on this. I believe that the Dodgers have the best roster ever assembled, and I believe the Dodgers have the only baseball team I've ever seen uniquely built for the playoffs because of the number of ways that they can beat you, and because Glass now is their 4th ace, and they can get an ace performance like they've gotten against a really good Brewers team from any of their starters. Do I have anything wrong there?
I don't think you do. Now, the guy I spoke to is a little bit biased because he's a member of the Dodgers. But when I called him before I started to do the playoffs this year, I did the Reds and the Dodgers on the radio for ESPN. When I called this guy and said, tell me about your team, he said, we have the greatest roster in the history of baseball. That's what he said. And I'm not sure I believed it at the time, but the more you look at it, the Dodgers roster is ridiculously good, which, you can do that when you spend this kind of money. Their starting pitching right now is so preposterously overpowering. I don't know how anybody gets a hit off of them. Blake Snell just finished 2 straight starts in which he pitched 6 innings and allowed 1 hit or less. Okay. No pitcher's ever done that twice in their postseason careers. He did it in back-to-back starts. And then Yamamoto, who is incredibly good, came out and threw a complete game. And Tyler Glasnow, nobody can hit him when he's right. And that's just the starting pitching. The lineup is tremendous. The only issue is they have a bullpen problem, but they're going to use their excess starters, including Roki Sasaki, to do what they have to do. And yes, they are built for the postseason. They are built to win the World Series, and it's just incredible. They're playing their best baseball right now.
Does Dan Marino look like the 3rd-place finisher in a David Hasselhoff lookalike contest? Does the Big Dumper look like a likable dad who started a YouTube cooking channel sharing easy crock-pot recipes you can make at home?
So Jerry Dipoto, the general manager of the Mariners, told me, a couple weeks ago, he said, the reason everybody loves Cal Raleigh is he looks like the guy who comes over to your house to fix your air conditioner or comes over to fix your plumbing. He looks like the rest of us, but he just happens to be a great baseball player. But that's one reason that he has become a folk hero in the great Northwest is in some ways he looks like us, but he's different than us. He's different than everyone. Dan, no switch hitter had ever hit 20 homers in a season from each side of the plate until he came along. Of course, no switch hitter had ever hit 55. He hit 60. No catcher had ever hit 50. He hit 60. No Mariner had ever hit more than Ken Griffey Jr. He did that, and he looks like the air conditioner repairman.
Does Mike McDaniel look like the barista who asks if you've ever tried journaling while making your oat milk latte? The double play the other day in the Dodgers game where you had, and I can't believe I'm saying this particular sentence, a 400-foot grand slam that turned into a ground ball double play.
Yeah, Dan, that play has never happened in the history of baseball. I'm pretty certain about that. Now, Jason Stark did all of this research and, Project Score Sheet and all these people got involved. I just cannot understand how that play could have happened. It was a 400-foot grounded into double play when the ball essentially never hit the ground. Now, this is all because Teoscar Hernandez, the runner at third, did not recognize that you have to tag up on that play. A 12-year-old knows when the ball goes up in the air and you're at third base, first thing you do is stand on third base until the ball is caught or until it hits the ground. And as soon as it hit Sal Frelick's glove in center field, now you can tag up. But he went halfway, then he went back to third base, and then by the time he got home, he was forced at the plate on an out on a ball that was hit 400 feet. And then, of course, the only person who seemed to understand what was going on was William Contreras, the catcher, who then alertly ran to third base and tagged it because a force play is still in play. Bases loaded, a ball is hit that doesn't go over the fence and is not caught. That means there is a force play at every base. I've never seen anything like that. I will never see anything like that again. I was on a flight from Toronto to Seattle I was on there with an umpire and a bunch of scouts. I asked them all, have you ever seen anything like this? And all of them said, never seen anything like it because it's never happened before. This is why we go to the games, Dan, because something might happen at a major league game that's never happened or we've never seen before, and that is the perfect example.
Does Rob Pelinka look like a courthouse sketch of Tom Brady? Does Adam Silver look like a newly opened chapstick? It's too bad the Zoom doesn't work on his laugh. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting that silence. Tim, thank you for everything you always help us with. It's nice seeing you, especially this time of year.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, guys.
Again, Is This a Great Game or What is the podcast he does with his son, and also at ESPN. He's an analyst reporter for Baseball Tonight. He's a Hall of Fame baseball writer. He's been at ESPN a ton of time, and he's keeping baseball alive at ESPN.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm someone that's constantly adding stuff to different carts on random websites. Like there's a teal Marlins hat that's been calling to me for like 2.5 years that I'm constantly getting advertisements for. Is something eventually I'll purchase because I keep those things in the cart. Then I see it, that beautiful glowing purple Shop Pay button. Boom, checkout's done. I don't even have to get up and find my wallet. That, my friends, is Shopify magic. That little purple button means that the store is powered by Shopify, which doesn't just make it easy to buy, but ridiculously easy to start and run your own business too. Whether you're a giant like Mattel or Gymshark or, just launching something weird from your garage, Shopify has your back. Let's be real, if we can run a show with this much chaos, you can run a business with Shopify. With hundreds of beautiful templates, tools for payments, inventory, analytics, marketing, it goes on, and it's all in one place. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Batard. Go to shopify.com/Batard. Shopify.com/Batard.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan. Super excited to talk to you about the official ticketing partner of the Dan Le Batard Show. They've been a good partner of ours, and I couldn't be prouder of it because, folks, I really use Game Time. I practice what I preach here, people, because the Game Time app gives the advantage back to fans. It's a hack for unlocking amazing tickets, especially when it comes to the National Football League. It is hard to get some really prime NFL tickets, and Game Time makes it so incredibly easy because the interface is beautiful and easy to understand, and the Game Time guarantee means that you can trust that you'll be getting 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. You get zone deals, favorites, panoramic seat views, the low price guarantee, and Game Time's unparalleled ticket coverage. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
Folks, fuel your game day with the unbeatable crunch of Hampton Farms, the official peanut of bowl season. Perfect for sharing with friends, tailgating outside the stadium, or cheering from the couch. Grab a bag from the produce aisle of your local grocery store and savor the game one peanut at a time. Let's get nutty.
Dan Le Batard.
Well, Charlie sent. Charlie had this. Charlie, as far as I know, so just Charlie's title in my.
Are you going to say anything?
Stugotz.
How familiar were you at the time with Chewbacca? Like how your upbringing had how much Chewbacca in it?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Speaking of ESPN, a story we did not get to earlier this week, and I'm surprised we didn't get to it because it was such a great moment of television. I don't know how you guys reacted to this, but I imagine that Kirk Herbstreit got mad at Pat McAfee.
You know he's got a dog?
I imagine that Kirk Herbstreit got mad at Pat McAfee because they're on the set talking about Bill Belichick, and Kirk Herbstreit shows only Saban and the crew that Bill Belichick is calling on his phone right now. And what Pat McAfee does is exactly what you have to do, but it's not what I would have wanted him to do only if I were Kirk Herbstreit. So watch this and tell me what you guys think of it.
Is to understand that he is completely bought into what's happening with this team and with this program. And him leaving, or the idea of him leaving.
Answer that.
I can't answer.
But answer that. He has to be watching right now. That's literally Bill Belichick calling Kirk Herbstreit. He probably has something to say.
Yeah. He probably does.
But
you know, every coach needs to have the opportunity to establish his culture and also to recruit.
Nick Saban went straight into, I got to do television here.
You guys could have just played the Saban clip for me. Oh, that's good stuff.
I want to play it again. They're talking about Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick calls Herbstreit. Herbstreit shows his phone to only Saban and Pat McAfee. They're talking about Belichick while Belichick's calling, and Pat McAfee does the good television thing there. He does something better than what Kirk Herbstreit was doing, but there's no way Kirk Herbstreit didn't talk to him about this afterward.
Is to understand that he is completely bought into what's happening with this team and with this program. And him leaving, or the idea of him leaving.
Answer that.
I can't answer.
But answer that. He has to be watching right now. That's literally Bill Belichick calling Kirk Herbstreit. He probably has something to say.
Yeah, he probably does.
But you know, every coach needs to have the opportunity to establish his culture and also to recruit his kind of player.
Oh, can we play the Saban part again?
Like, how does that go if he answers it? Like, puts him on speaker, like, oh, hey, Kirk. Oh.
I mean, that's why he's calling, right? Belichick is calling to be put on the air in that spot, which is kind of
you can't call Herbie
abnormal
in that spot and then be like, what are you doing putting me on air? Like, you're calling him while the show's going on.
Let me ask you guys this question, because Diana Rossini went on Nick Wright's show yesterday and said of Belichick and UNC, quote, "They tell me this is the happiest they've seen Bill in years. He feels like the students are actually buying into what he's doing."
I mean, I think he's probably the happiest he's been in years because he doesn't care.
I think he's the happiest he's ever been because he's dating a very young woman.
The report from Diana Rossini, quote, "They tell me this is the happiest they've seen Bill in years. He feels like the students are actually buying into what he's doing."
Well, how did we go from, and look, I mean, there are bad reports out there all the time, but how did we go from last week where he's already looking for other jobs and the school is actively trying to figure out how to get rid of him with a small buyout, to now he's so happy and the kids are buying in?
I mean, it could be spin, but I do think he's happy. He has to be happy to still be in this relationship. It has to be well worth it for him, given all the negative publicity, given the tarnish that it's probably put around his post-coaching career. Well, he's coaching now, although very little evidence of that. I think he's very clearly happy for Bill Belichick. He's not outwardly happy.
Well, let me do this, though, when you say tarnish, because I saw Bill Simmons came to the vigorous defense of the idea that Bill Belichick's legacy will not in any way be damaged by what is happening now. And I happen to agree with the fact that when history looks back at all of this stuff, we don't remember the punctuations. But the place that I don't agree with Bill Simmons is that there's simply no circumstance under which Bill Belichick could have imagined that his present day legacy is so harmed, his present day right now, that he cannot get any of the jobs that he would want right now, that he has zero access to anything that he wants, pros or college, because of what's happened in 5 weeks, and probably the weeks before that as well. So we can say right now, while we're in it, that his legacy won't be impacted down the line, but it's being impacted right now because he cannot, with his legacy, get any job. There's not a job right now that he can get better than the one he has.
I don't think the door is closed on him in the NFL. There's always going to be an owner that is going to be drawn to all the success that he had. He's going to be given opportunities to interview for jobs if he wants to,
but that's not
because of who he is.
Yeah, but Mike, given the opportunity to interview for jobs is not something Belichick thought that would be the high point of whatever he was doing 5 years ago.
Why do you believe that?
You know how Brian Billick was like, I'm here, I still want to coach, I have a Super Bowl, and no one thinks of me. I don't think that that's going to happen to Bill Belichick, despite the circus around him. And I do think that you look at these NFL franchises, an owner's going to think that the smart thing to do is go to a proven winner. I mean, I told you, he had an opportunity, if he really wanted the Atlanta job, to go for it. He had it. There were things about Atlanta that he didn't want to do in Atlanta.
Yeah, but it's worse now than it was when he was interviewing for those jobs.
I agree, but...
Well, am I not remembering him interviewing for more than the Falcons?
I happen to know that when the Cowboys thing became available, he stopped talking to staffers over there. I don't doubt that silence.
Oh my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come, everyone. Come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
He's got his eyes on what's happening with the New York Giants, too. People that have been around North Carolina.
Well, you think he would follow Parcells? I don't know that. I mean, follow Parcells, but Parcells did what he did there. I don't know, man.
He often tells people, I'm just so many wins away from the NFL all-time wins record. It's important to him. And I think he'll try to make it happen.
Folks, listen up. With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. New customers bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll score $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code Dan. That's code Dan to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Hey audience, I got a special treat for you because I want to talk to you about Miller Lite, but I want to talk to you about Miller Lite with my good friend Rose. Hey Rose!
Hi everybody!
When we hang out, and we hang out often, we're friends. I consider us friends.
Yeah, me too.
We're often toasting the good times. And what am I toasting with?
With Miller Lite!
That's right, Miller Lite. Whether you're hanging out with your dear friend Rose or at game day, it just hits different when you got a Miller Lite in your hand. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to fantasy heartbreaks, it's a beer that has been there for every moment. 50 years of great taste, simple ingredients, and that iconic golden color that you can spot across the room. And it's just not the color of the beer, which is brilliant. That beautiful white can. How beautiful is that? Is that you doing the sound of a can opening? Is that your favorite sound?
No, it is a horsey.
A horsey? All right, well, stop doing that. And here's a kicker. Miller Lite is just 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. The original light beer since 1975. That's right. And still hitting different 5 decades later. You're so good at this, Rose.
I know.
So whatever your game day looks like, remember, Miller time is always a good
time.
Look at us. We're a great tag team. High five again. Can you do that beer sound one more time? And the horse sound one more time? I regret asking you about that one, but the Miller Lite sound is good. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller.
Time.
Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounce.
Ounces.
No, it says.
Oh, it says.